Tilta have designed some fantastic cages for the DJI Action 2, whether you choose to use the camera module alone or with the display or power module connected, there is a cage option available for you, adding extra strength and versatility. If you're into high speed shooting scenarios though, or simply want to eliminate micro jitters in your footage, then this is exactly what you need, the Tilta shock absorbing frame. The Tilta shock-absorbing frame functions as an add-on accessory for the dual camera cage. In other words, the form-fitting dual cage is the first level of protection that Tilta has designed for the DJI Action 2. This is designed as a Layer 2, a shock-absorbing cage that surrounds the form-fitting modular cage. In essence, it features shock absorbers that screw into the four corners of the form-fitting dual cage, leaving it suspended in the middle. The design promises to eliminate micro jitters during high-speed shooting scenarios, while also providing added security in the form of increased mounting points. With the same matte grey colour and same high-quality aluminum construction as we found with the cage itself, the shock-absorbing frame feels solid in the hand. In essence, we have these rubber dampeners located in the four corners of the cage, and with the camera suspended in the middle, they should help to reduce micro jitters in your footage, caused by vibrations associated with high speed or rough terrain. You'll receive a spare set of dampeners in the package too, and if the need ever arises to swap any out, it's a pretty straightforward, albeit slightly fidgety process, which involves removing the corner screw, using the tilter tool provided with the dual cage certainly helps here, after which the rest can be done by hand, providing access to the dampener within, which can be replaced before reinserting and retightening the bolt to keep it locked into position. Equally as fidgety though is getting the camera into place in the first instance. With no instructional guides provided in the package, you're left to figure this out on your own too, although thankfully it does seem pretty straightforward, in concept at least. In an included package we find various clips and bolts. These small bolts, complete with blue thread lock pre-applied, screw into each corner of the dual camera cage. Finger tightening is okay, although I'd recommend the use of a small flathead screwdriver to ensure they are reasonably tight. You'll want to be careful here, the bolts are small and spares are not included within the package. And at this time I couldn't find any spare parts listed on Tilta's website either, so you certainly don't want to lose these just yet. Anyways, with all securely in place, we're ready to attach to the shock absorbing frame. This simply involves carefully pushing each bolt into the rubber dampener. This can get a little fidgety and quite frankly a little frustrating at times, but with some perseverance the unit does sit in place well in the end. The beauty of this design is that the main camera portion, or the inner cage, doesn't actually attach to the frame at all other than through these rubber dampeners, meaning with the frame attached to a solid object, the camera module inside moves and floats freely, with the rubber dampeners absorbing micro jitters and jolts, resulting in a smoother ride for the main camera itself. The inner camera cage does seem to sit in place quite well, although if you're mounting somewhere where you know the vibrations are really extreme, you'll want to attach the supplied security clips too. Although be warned, I found attaching these a little frustrating. The idea is they act as clamps to ensure the bolts cannot work their way out of the dampeners at all. It does work well, it's just incredibly fidgety getting them into place in the first instance. Nevertheless, when it comes to mounting, the frame is seriously versatile, with both M3 and standard 1/4" 20 threads around the entire structure. A GoPro mount is included in the package and can be attached to the M3 threads on any side, whether that's keeping the camera in its default vertical or in a horizontal orientation, and once in place it's solid, no wiggle room whatsoever. Alternatively, we have standard 1/4" 20 threads for attaching to other mounts. These same mounting points also allow you to secure your system via multiple points of contact when rigging for increased stability and security as well. So although this system is well thought out and works perfectly well, there are some downsides too. Camera controls become limited. Both the top and side buttons are difficult to reach and press, so the system would work best with an external remote, or being controlled via the smartphone app. Saying that, we maintain full access to the touchscreen displays of course, as well as the micro SD card slot and the USB charging port. Although we can use the same USB port for transferring captured footage off the camera after a shoot, removing the camera from the system is again another time-consuming process. Releasing any installed security clips as you pull the bolts out of the dampeners, taking care not to rip them of course, before opening up the cage to access the camera modules. Maybe not something you'd want to do too often, but if you do, you'll become quickly annoyed at the process. Even so, it is still a good solution for those looking to shoot in very high vibration action sports. The in-camera rock-steady stabilization does a great job in most scenarios though, so you'll most likely want to test that to see if that does the job for you before purchasing an accessory like this. Although if you're looking to mount outside of a fast-moving vehicle, over very rough terrain for instance, I can certainly see how this would help by absorbing those micro jitters and helping you produce the smoothest footage possible, as long as you can put up with that time-consuming and often frustrating setup process of course.